Hello everyone, it is me HunterTube, and I'm back with yet another update video. Yes, I know. Why am I starting this off in the most casual way possible? Anyway, the reason I am making this video is a little different from the last one. As you know, I have not been gone for like half a year. Instead, it's only just been 2 months. So in this update video, I will give you a brief explanation as to why I haven't made that much content this year so far, as well as give you an overview of the stuff that is yet to come this year. So to start this update video off, there are 3 reasons as to why I haven't made as much content throughout February, March, and April. Those 3 things being college, work, and motivation / lack of ideas. You should already know the gist of the whole college and work situation, but I'm going to briefly talk about the motivation / lack of ideas section. This is probably the main reason as to why I haven't made much content this year so far, because I am starting to run out of ideas for small videos. And as you know, it takes a lot of motivation to make a big video. So basically, if you don't have any ideas or motivation for a small video, it can be hard to get to work on bigger videos and stuff like that. This is also the reason as to why certain smaller series of videos have disappeared over the years. A good example of this would be remakes. I do have one more remake planned for this year, but I will go into detail on what it is later. So now with that out of the way, let's quickly go over the rest of the plans that I have for this year. These are very subject to change and may not be final. Let's start off with the current month of May. I did originally have 2 other videos planned for this month, those being a triple review and the first big video of the year. But because a certain greatest moments shipment doesn't want to arrive at my Walmart,
that is if it ever does arrive at my Walmart,
the review will get pushed back to June. And if the greatest moments assortment decides not to show up, or the assortment that I'm not looking for, it'll just turn into a single review. As for the big video, depending on how long it takes to make this, it might get pushed back to June, or it might release towards the very end of May. And this big video is going to end up being that evolution of my TrapMaster 2 layouts video that I teased late last year. Moving on to June, there will be that review, or triple review, depending on what happens, as well as possibly a few Thomas's Trackmaster Adventures music videos to tide you over while you wait for some other things. And maybe even there will be a certain trailer that drops around that month too, depending on how far I get into production with this thing. Moving on to July, I have no idea what I will do for that month, so it's all just speculations for now. For August, I have another custom spotlight video planned. I won't go into much detail on what it is, but you might have seen who it is in a few previous videos of mine. And as for the rest of the year, everything is pretty much speculation. Except for December, where I have 1 remake planned. So expect to see that on like Christmas Eve or something. Alright, now let's move on to the big stuff. I think we'll start off with the most obvious one, which is the Thomas's Trackmaster Adventures movie. So if you probably remember from the last update video, I was hoping that by this time I would have the script completed, and that I would have began the filming process around this time. Sadly, that wasn't the case. But I do have some good news. The script is currently in production and is being written as we speak. So depending on how quick it takes me to get pretty far into the script, expect a new trailer around mid to late June at best. As for the release date, I'm still hoping it'll be done sometime around September. I am also hoping for a prime time to happen around this time because I want to premiere it on there. And that's pretty much all I have for updates about the movie. As for other big things, there's the layout evolution, which I briefly talked about earlier, as well as something else that I teased late last year. Thomas's Trackmaster Adventures. High-speed adventures. If you remember when I uploaded the trailer for this thing, the description read that it would get a spring 2024 release. Well, things kinda changed. This thing is still getting released at some point, don't you worry. But before this thing can come out, there are a few things I'll need to figure out first. The first thing is that I will have to get Adobe Photoshop back. The reason I don't have it anymore is because I originally was using my college account for it. And the only problem with using my college account is that after every semester, the subscription will end, meaning I won't have access to it anymore. And if you're wondering why this is a problem, it's because this upcoming fall semester, I do not have any classes that use Adobe products. So in order for me to print off more copies of the case, as well as make disc art, I will need to make my own Adobe account and pay for the subscription myself. The other thing I'll have to figure out with this is how to work DVD Styler. I have recently figured out a nice format on how I can make this DVD work. And let me tell you, it is very different from the initial plans I teased in that trailer. Heck, I even screened one of the original cuts of one of the episodes in Mewontoon Primetime Hits the Road, that being Speedy Storm in a Streamlined Road Engine, which explains why this cool transition exists. And that's about it for updates on the DVDs. But I do kind of want to get this released soon, as I do have plans to make more of these if this one succeeds. I think you can already tell that one of them is going to end up being the movie. But anyway, I think that wraps it up for this update video. I bet you there's probably like some sort of minuscule detail that I skipped over or something like that probably isn't really necessary to cover, but yeah. I guess that leaves us with this saying then. This is HunterTube saying thanks for watching, bye for now, and I'll see you with the next video, which will either be that review or triple review, depending on what happens, or the evolution of my Trackmaster 2 layouts. Bye!